Welcome to the Fursati podcast, where we bring you insightful conversations with successful business leaders, educators, entrepreneurs, and INJAZ staff from the MENA region. I'm your host for today, Nadia Abdullah, and we have a very special guest who is deeply connected to the roots of AI in this region. Joining us today is Christophe Zughbi, founder and CEO of Zaka AI. Welcome to the podcast, Chris. It's a great pleasure to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Nadia. It's good to be here.
So, let's start off by asking you to introduce yourself and your experience with AI education.
So, as you said, my name is Christophe Zughbi. I have a background in software engineering. I've been working in the technology industry for the past 15 years, and I transitioned into AI around 10 years ago. Initially, I was working as an AI engineer, building AI solutions and working on projects. But I also wanted to promote artificial intelligence in Lebanon. So I built a community called Beirut AI in hopes of promoting, more AI adoption and getting people to talk about AI. And so this community has really grown a lot in the last years. And it has really showed me that there is a need for education. So a lot of people have a misconception around what is AI, how to use AI, how to adopt AI, how to implement it in their businesses, etc. So this has led me to found my current startup, Zaka, which is a consulting and training company focusing on helping companies and individuals not only understand what AI is, but also help them implement AI. So that's really been my experience in the AI field for the last 10 years.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Chris. We're really happy to have you. And we're very excited to learn a little bit more about what you're doing with AI and how your work has impacted the region. But before we go into that, Chris, can you explain what AI is in simple terms and how it's different from other technologies?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a very important point to start off because a lot of people, as I said, they don't really understand or know what AI is. They see the AI that we see in the movies or in the media, but that's not entirely correct. So AI sometimes is portrayed as robotics or as this evil, dominant thing that's going to take over humanity. But the reality is that AI is a very big field. It's not a new field. It's been with us for more than 50 years, but it includes a lot of different topics, right? So nowadays, when we talk about AI, we mainly talk about software, talk about algorithms that are smart, that can process data and can extract some patterns from that data to automate or to predict or to do some form of task. So a lot of the AI that we talk about today is actually called or should be called machine learning or deep learning. So these are algorithms like computer programs that can help us predict something or automate some task.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Chris. That is also something that I learned this year, although AI has been around for the last 3 years. There's a history behind it, but I also feel that there is more of a niche for it now, and people are really trying to understand it. So, with the advancement in AI, although it's a little bit scary, we are investing in something new. So, on that note, Chris, I wanted to also ask you how you think AI is currently transforming industries globally.
So AI has really been driving a lot of the innovation and the acceleration in technology in the last few years. And that's why it's now a buzzword and everyone is excited to learn more about AI because we can really see the value that it's bringing to different industries. And I'm not going to talk a bit about the high level things. I'm going to talk about specific examples that everyone should be seeing in their daily lives. If you have a smartphone, you're most likely leveraging multiple AI apps or features enabled by AI, right? For example, Google Maps, that's definitely using a lot of AI, or your camera to figure out the best settings for the camera uses a lot of AI as well. If you are shopping online, you can use or you're using an AI system that will know your preference and it's going to help you give recommendations to what you need to buy. If you're watching, listening to music on Anghami or watching Shahid or Netflix or these kind of platforms, they also leverage recommender systems, which is a machine learning based approach to learn the user's preferences and give them recommendations. So these are some examples that I'm sure everyone has interacted with at least once. And if you look at the broader perspective, um, We can see AI, let's say in healthcare, helping doctors with the diagnostics and imaging. So we can send an X-ray to an AI system that can automatically detect specific things with high accuracy, even more than doctors themselves. In finance, AI is helping detect fraudulent transactions, or in retail, it's allowing these businesses to acquire more customer insights and customizing the experiences of their users, the shopping experiences, I mean, recommending products, as I said, etc. So there's a lot of uh, industry. In fact, every industry is being revolutionized one way or another by AI, and we can expect to see this uh, continuation of this revolution, let's say, in the near future, because more and more companies are realizing the value of data, the value of AI, and they're starting to adopt more and more AI in their systems. So I think this is going to be increasing in the future. I think there are mainly three challenges. First of all, to build AI systems or models, we need data, and we need a lot and a lot and a lot of data. So the first challenge I see is we lack a data culture in the region. People, companies, everyone, they don't really understand how important data is, right? They just starting to get used to this maybe concept. And I think that's the first obstacle we need to overcome. We need to start collecting data in a nice way, in a good, clean way, and then figure out how to leverage the data to build AI systems. The second challenge, I would say, is the infrastructure challenge, because as you know, AI needs a lot of processing power. We need a lot of GPUs and computational power to train these models, to deploy these models, etc. And we are working on that, but again, in the region, we don't have a lot of local resources, so that could also pose a challenge. And then the third one is the skilled labor or skilled professionals. We need people who understand this technology, who understand how to train models, how to build AI models, how to debug them, how to, build these solutions. We don't want to just be using this technology that someone else is producing. We want to produce this technology ourselves, right? We want to have local talent solving local problems in the region. And that's something that I personally really care about, because that's what we do at Zaka. We're trying to build that local talent pool to help, solve local problems.
Those are excellent examples. Thank you so much for sharing. The lack of data culture in the region is something that we talk about constantly. And I really think that with AI coming into place, maybe collecting data would become an easier and smoother process for the region. Obviously, you mentioned infrastructure and skilled labor professionals, which are extremely important. You also mentioned that these professionals need to understand how to build and rebuild. And on top of that, I also believe that we need professionals to educate other professionals and even young youth on what AI really is, how to use it, and also how to adapt it. So thank you so much for sharing that. So, why is it crucial for countries in our region to invest in AI? And how can we help address issues like economic diversity, education, and healthcare? I know you mentioned healthcare a little bit before. Can you talk more about the economy and education in particular that would be extremely beneficial to us?
Absolutely. I mean, we already have seen the value that AI is bringing to economies. If you look at the economies of other countries where they're heavily investing in AI, you see that it's driving a lot of the economic growth. And if you look at the region here, most of the region's economy was based on oil, and we all know that, you know, uh, data is the new oil, right? So we need to be able to diversify or reduce maybe our reliance on oil, and have economies being built more on the information technology and data side of things. And that's exactly what the Saudi 2030 vision is all about. So also the UAE is also focusing on becoming a global hub for AI. They're investing a lot in tech startups and creating AI friendly policies as well. So in terms of the economic diversification, it definitely helps to reduce the reliance on oil. It also helps us to maybe boost some innovation. AI can help you create a lot of things. You don't need to hire a huge team if you're a startup. With using these AI models, you can do a lot of things with a small team. So there's a lot of competitiveness there as well. And I believe AI can help us overcome our maybe inequalities and then catch up with everyone else because we're using that technology. When it comes to education, uh, we all know that AI is helping personalize the learning journey for the students. So we use something called adaptive learning, let's say in our learning management systems, so that each student can get the knowledge that they need in the format that they like to learn the best. So AI can do that, right? AI is helping students, sorry, instructors or educators tailor the content of their educational content to match every student's learning style and pace as well. And this helps expand the access to education. This helps everyone, increase their level of understanding of the content and can really improve a lot the learning opportunities that we have. Um, in terms of also some challenges that we have in the region, like job creation or skill development. Uh, if you're building these skills in AI, you can now work remotely with companies outside as well. So that's helping bring in more opportunities for our youth. That's helping, bridge some gap in terms of the shortages of hiring or job opportunities in the region. That's improving the social and economic situation. Like this is a real example that we have in Lebanon, where we personally are training a lot of people and helping them find jobs abroad by working remotely with these companies. So they are accessing the same level of opportunities, of job opportunities. They're accessing good salaries, and they're still, based out of Lebanon, which is helping a lot our brain drain, which is the biggest challenge or problem that we're facing here at this country. So I believe the same can be applied in the region. We can keep our talent, and we can give them opportunities and economic inclusion as well.
Thank you, Chris, for sharing, especially around the new AI developments here in the region. As you said, AI is new to us, but it's really great to see how the MENA region is taking the lead, embracing AI, especially in regions such as Saudi through their new vision, in the ministry, in the UAE, trying to live up through the AI culture. As an educator, I really appreciated the adaptive learning example that you shared with us. Differentiation is key in education so that every student has his own way of learning. While teachers seem to be superheroes, they obviously can't do everything all at once. So it's really nice to see how AI is being able to tailor content and embrace the culture of differentiated instruction. Thank you so much for sharing that. Moving on to my next question, Chris, around the elephant in the room. AI helps us a lot. AI is all about advancement and improvement, whether in the region or even globally. But there's a stigma around ethics, and I really wanted to ask you and learn more about the ethical considerations. What are the ethical considerations that we should take into account when deploying AI in the region, particularly around data privacy and bias?
That's a very important topic, as you mentioned. So, AI has been around for some time, but the ethical side of AI is fairly a new topic. And now people are starting to realize that it's not enough to just build an AI system that works. We need to make sure that it's ethical, that it's fair, that it's transparent. And there's a lot of other pillars, if you want, around the framework of ethical AI. So, I'm going to talk about the things that are applicable not just in the region, but everywhere else, and then maybe we can focus on specifically for our region. But if you're talking about the ethical framework, we need to make sure that AI as a powerful system is transparent, right? We need to understand how it's coming up with decisions and why is it deciding that this loan should be approved, but that loan cannot be approved, for example. And this is important because there is bias in data, and we all know that we need data to train AI. So if our data is biased, then we're building a biased AI system. It's going to impact users and people who are using that system. So we need the systems to be transparent so that people can trust them and that we can tell why they make that decision, right? So that's a very important point. Um, that will remove any bias that was accumulated in the data, and that's also going to make sure that the system is fair and it's fair to everyone that's using it. We also need to make sure that there is accountability. If AI is going to be more and more adopted in our lifestyle and it's making decisions, who is accountable if it made a mistake, especially with the let's say, introduction of the self-driving cars, which they will soon be in Dubai as well and the UAE. If a self-driving car is driving and it made an accident, who's to blame? Is it the car itself or the person who owns the car or the company? We still don't know exactly. There are no rules in that regard. So these are some of the things that we have to think about when we talk about the ethical side. When we talk about also we spoke about the transparency, the data security. That's a very important point. The privacy of the data. We said that we need to collect a lot of data to train AI systems, but this is data that belongs to users. And how can we make sure that this data stays private and maybe anonymous in some parts? Because we don't want to, I don't know, we don't want people to have to get their private data leaked, maybe like we're seeing with other companies out there. So it's important to make sure that we have good cybersecurity practices and making sure that the data remains private, remains secure, and maybe does not link to any specific person. And I believe these also apply in the region. Maybe we can also add additionally some cultural sensitivity, because what maybe in the US might seem okay in this region might be different, or vice versa, because we don't have the same cultural values, in the world. So we need to make sure that also the systems that we are using, if we are not building them locally, if we are sourcing them from, let's say, the Western culture, we need to make sure that they also apply to our demographics, to our cultural ideas, etc. And that's why I really highlight the idea of local talent building local solutions, because we understand our cultures, we understand what works for us and what does not work, and that's why we need to build the systems that work for us. And that's exactly why if you use ChatGPT in Arabic, it's not going to be the same quality as if you use it in English. And if you don't know that, ChatGPT and all of these other LLMs are so much better in English than in Arabic, because we have so much more content in English on the internet than the Arabic content. And that's, again, the same point we go back to. We need to figure out our own solutions to our own problems. So that's, in a nutshell, what I believe should be done in the region in terms of the ethical side of AI.
Thank you, Chris, for sharing all of that transparency, accountability, and consistency within your answer. All of these keywords reassure us and pretty much give us the information that we need to fully understand the ethical side of AI. I think for me, the number one thing is to have policies in place that are consistent and transparent. It's really important to ensure that people, whether in the workplace, schools, universities, organizations, all have some say in how to use AI. So having policies and procedures in place would really be essential. And I'm also, by the way, very interested in learning a little bit more about the self-driving cars. I'm going to do my own research after this podcast. Chris, you also mentioned cybersecurity. It's a big one. And because of that, we're going to be inputting data on tools such as ChatGPT and other AI machines. So I'm sure that having an AI policy would really be beneficial to any organization. So thank you so much for shedding light on that. I think one of the most crucial topics in AI is around the ethical use of artificial intelligence. Finally, and looking ahead, Chris, what do you see as the future of AI in the MENA region, and what steps should governments and businesses take to prepare for and harness this form of technology?
I think the future of AI in the MENA region holds a lot of potential for huge growth across different sectors. In fact, according to a PwC study that was done, I think, 4 years ago, they looked at the impact of AI from now until 2030. And they estimated that by 2030, AI would contribute $320 billion to the economies in the region. So there's a lot of room to grow. There's a lot of impact to be had. And I think that governments have also a lot of responsibilities in this case, because government should develop national AI strategies, like we saw in the UAE, in Saudi Arabia, also in Egypt. I think they did their strategy. So they need to have a strategy that aligns everyone's goals, policies, and a framework to guide the development of AI. I think they also should invest in education and skills development and ensure that they have, as I said, local talent, skilled workforce that is capable of driving AI innovation, of building solutions, etc. They should also create a supportive environment for regulations for companies that would want to, implement AI systems, and of course, promote research and development as well. When it comes to the businesses, it's important to businesses to start adopting technologies, AI technologies, right? Especially now with these AI tools like ChatGPT and others, it's becoming it's not an option anymore for businesses to adopt AI. I think they're all realizing that they have to do it, otherwise they're gonna fall behind on efficiency and productivity. So you can see already the shift in businesses who want to start, integrating AI into their operations, make sure that everything is efficient and streamlined. They should also invest in talent. They should hire or upskill their local employees and have them, understand what is AI, at least from a literacy perspective, before they can start building technical talent pool. Um, so, and yeah, one more point I forgot around on the government side is they also have to be building infrastructure, right? Making sure that we have the right infrastructure to support AI development. So yeah, I believe if these steps were made, and the way I see things right now, we're looking to be moving in the right direction. I think we will see a huge impact on AI in the region in the near future.
Thank you for that advice and your insight, Chris. I think, everything that you said, maybe it needs more and more research, but it all leads back to education at its core, whether an educational institution, a business, or an organization. I hope that listeners really zoom in on the key advice that you provided in today's podcast. So on behalf of everybody here today, I'd like to thank you for your time. I'd also like to thank you for supporting us in creating AI content on INJAZ campus. You've really helped us upskill Arab youth all over the region. Once again, thank you for your time, Chris, and we look forward to working with you again in the near future.
Of course, thank you so much for having me, and it's a pleasure to collaborate with INJAZ. As I said, education is our core mission at Zaka, so I'm happy that we're able to support, and I'm happy to be here as well. Thank you.